Okay, the title is The Death of the Hen. The hen is a chicken, but it's a girl, female chicken. Cock is a boy, male chicken. Okay, so the story is this girl chicken, hen, dies. Anyway, many, many years ago, there was a cock and a hen. So the boy chicken and the girl chicken. They were very, very good friends. And one day, cock said to the hen, hey girl, he said, let's go to a nut mountain. Nut mountain is, I think, probably it's a mountain where they can find lots of different nuts. Okay, so the cock said, let's go to the nut mountain and go look for a nut. And she said, okay, let's go. We like nuts. We like to eat nuts. And so the cock said, well, we go there, but I want us to agree with each other. I want us to understand each other, that when one of us finds a nut, we will divide it. We'll cut it in half, and you will have one half of it, and I'll have the other half. And so let's agree with this. And so the hen said, sure, that's fine. When we go to the nut mountain, and if I find a nut, I will tell you, and we will divide it. We will, divide it, and we will each have half of it. And so they went. But when they went, the hen found a big nut. But you see, the hen is a girl, and she is usually, or not usually, sometimes girls are not very nice, or some boys are not very nice, but some girls are not very nice. And so this hen was not a very nice hen, and she did not want to share this nut with the cock. She did not say anything about this nut. She said nothing about the nut. She went behind the tree and she ate the nut by herself. But the nut was very, very big. And inside the nut there was a kernel, and the kernel is like a little core. And it was very, very big. It was fat kernel. And so when she ate it quickly, because she didn't want the cock to see it, she ate it very quickly, and then she could not swallow. She could not swallow the nut all the way to her body. And so the nut stuck, the nut stuck in the throat. This is a throat. This is neck, but it's a throat. And so the nut stuck in the throat, and she was going to choke. Choke is like, you can't breathe. She was going to choke. And so she said, cock, cock, help me. And cock came and said, what happened? And the hen said, I'm choking. Please go to the brook. Brook is a river, okay, small river. Go to the brook and get some water. Go fetch some water. Fetch is like to go and get. So she said, go and get some water. Go fetch some water. So cock said, okay, okay. And he went to the brook. And he said, hey, brook, give me some water. He talked to the brook. It's very unrealistic. But he talked to the brook and said, hey, brook, give me some water. And then the brook said, no. She said, or he said, no, I am not going to give you any water. Unless, she said, if you get me a silk, red silk. Silk is a fabric, yeah? Red silk from a girl, from a bride. Bride is a woman who's going to get married. But anyway, she said, the brook said, go get me a red silk from a bride, and then I will give you some water. So the cock said, all right, and he ran to the bride, the bride, and he said, please give me some red silk. And then the bride, the girl, said, no, I am not going to give you my red silk unless you get me a garland. She said, if you get me a garland, I will give you some red silk. Garland is a sometimes you put it around your neck like a necklace that made out of flowers, big like when you go to Hawaii, they got lots of big necklace with flowers, and sometimes they have something on your head. You know, it's not a crown, but there's a crown thing that you put on your head, and so that's garland. Anyway, the bride said, "Go to the willow tree." It's a willow tree. It's a tree, but the trees, the branches go down like this. Willow tree. In Japan, they say behind the willow tree there is a ghost. Okay, that's a willow tree. Anyway, the girl said, "Go to the willow tree and get me my garland." And so the cock said, all right, all right. And he ran to the willow tree and he saw a garland hanging from a tree. So he pulled it. He pulled the garland and he ran to the bride and he said, "Here, this is your garland. Give me your red silk." So she said, all right, and she gave him her red silk. And so the cock took the red silk and went to the brook and said, "Brook, brook, I brought you the red silk, give me some water." So finally he got some water and he ran to the hen and said, "Hen, I got you some water." But it was too late, too late. The hen was dead. She was already dead. Oh, cock was very, very sad because he really loved the hen. So he cried, "Oh, my girlfriend is dead." And the cock cried and cried. He cried loudly. And then the beasts in the forest came out. First, mice came out. Mice is a plural form of mouse. One mouse and two mice. Okay? So a few mice came and said, "Why are you crying?" And the cock said, "Oh, my girlfriend died because she choked on the nut." And then they said, "Oh, I am so sorry." And they made a wagon. They made a wagon and they put the dead hen into the wagon and they began to pull the wagon to take the hen to a grave. Grave is a place where you bury a dead body and you put the tombstone, and that's a grave. Anyway, they were going to the grave. They were walking to the grave. The mice and the cock carrying the hen, and then on the way to the grave. On the way to the grave means before they get to the grave. They were still walking. On the way to the grave, a fox came. You know, the fox is an animal with a bushy tail. A fox came, and the fox said, "Hey, where are you going?" So the cock said, "Oh, my girlfriend died, and so we are going to the grave to bury." Bury means to put the dead body under the ground. We are going to the grave to bury the hen. And then the fox said, "Can I come too? Can I come along?" And so the cock said, "Sure, you can come." So they were walking, the cock and the mice and with the dead hen and the fox. And then the lion came and said, "Where are you going?" And so they said, "Oh, we're going to the grave." And he said, "Can I come too?" And so lion came along too. And then the bear came and the bear said, "Where are you going?" And we're going to the grave. "Can I come too?" "Oh, sure, you can come." So there was a, and then stag came. Stag is a male deer. You know what a deer is? Deer is an animal that you can find in Nara. When you go to Nara and you give a deer senbeis, and then that's deer. But stag is the male boy deer. And so the stag came. So there was a long line of animals walking to the grave. There was a long procession. Procession means long people, not people, but animal lining up, walking on a long line, in a long line. Anyway, so there was a long procession, and they're walking. And then guess what? They came to a big river before they get to the grave, but there was no bridge, and so they didn't know what to do. What shall we do? How can we cross this river? And then guess what? A straw came. Straw, just a straw. Straw came and said, "Hey, I can help you." The straw said, "I will lay myself across. You know, I will lie down and become a bridge for you. So the straw laid herself across the bridge, across the river, and she became a bridge. And so the mice and the cock and those animals began to walk on the straw to go across the bridge, but they slipped and they all fell into the river, and they all drowned. Drown means they died. They died in the water. But somehow the cock came out from the water and he pulled the dead hen, and then he carried the dead hen and went to the graveyard. He dug, he dug the hole and he buried the hen. He put the dirt around it. He made a small mound. Mound is a little hill. He made a small mound, and he cried and cried because he was so sad that his girlfriend had died. But because he cried so hard, because he cried sore. Sore means very, very hard. Because he cried sore, finally the cock died too. So everybody died. The end.